Good evening, everyone. You're watching Awaz News. I'm Kubra Ali, and I'll be taking you to top news across Canada.
The Farmer's Almanac just revealed Ontario's spring forecast. Here's what to expect. 2 dead, 1 seriously injured after morning collision in Whitchurch, Stouffville. Sunwing passenger recounts moments after pilot shuts down engine mid-air. Ontario judge denies request to clear Kitchener encampment, citing charter violations. 3 teenagers charged in alleged armed attempted carjacking in Rexdale. Coyote spotted running through streets in downtown Toronto.
Those were the headlines, and now let's look into the details.
A Toronto passenger said her Sunwing Airlines flight was unforgettable as she recounted the moments after the pilot shut down the plane's engine mid-flight to Montego Bay on Friday. Sarah Ann Finn, a traveler from Toronto, told CTV News Toronto an announcement aired over the intercom less than an hour after takeoff. It was just something you really don't forget, she said. The pilots informed passengers there was a mechanical issue involving the engine, and as a result, they would have to return to Toronto. They told us it was going to be a bumpy landing, Finn said. Sunwing told CTV News Toronto that one of the plane's engines shut down mid-air due to the low oil pressure. To triage, the pilots switched off one of the plane's 2 engines. As they touched down, fire trucks and emergency vehicles met the plane on the ground, Finn said. Sunwing said the plane was investigated by a maintenance crew while a new aircraft was prepared to bring the passengers to Montego Bay later that day. The Farmer's Almanac just revealed its spring 2023 forecast, and Ontario, along with much of the rest of Canada, is expected to see a turbulent transition to warm, the Almanac says, using its long-range weather forecasting methods utilized by the periodical for more than 200 years. The Farmer's Almanac is predicting a slow warm-up for most of the Canada with a very stormy April in store. The first day of spring is March 20th, and the season will be ushered in by stormy weather throughout the Great Lakes region, according to the Almanac. In southern Ontario and the Great Lakes area, snow and slushy weather are predicted to stretch into early April. In mid to late April, the province should expect more showers than usual alongside periods of stormy weather, the forecast predicts. Rain is in the forecast for both Easter weekend, which falls on April 9th in 2023, and Victoria Day long weekend from May 20th to 22nd. Although showers are in the forecast for the May long weekend, by the time Victoria Day itself rolls around May 22nd, the weather is expected to be fair, the Almanac says. Unsettling weather could last into June right across the country, the forecast says. For Western Ontario, the Almanac predicts dangerous thunderstorms in mid to late June. Then summer weather should kick into gear, it says. As we make the astronomical transition to summer, the heat will turn on big time across much of Canada as June winds down to close. Toronto will be opening its 3 warming centers later on today following the issuance of an extreme cold weather alert. Dr. Aline De Villa, the city's medical officer of health, issued the alert based on today's weather forecast, which is calling for a low for minus 11 Celsius tonight that could feel like minus 17 Celsius with the wind chill. Extreme weather alerts are usually called when temperatures are forecasted to be minus 15 Celsius or colder, or when the wind chill is forecast to reach minus 20 Celsius or colder for the next 24 hours or long. The city's 3 emergency warming centers will be opening this evening at 7 p.m. They are located at Metro Hall at 55 John Street, Scarborough Civic Center at 150 Borough Drive, and Mitchell Field Community Center at 59 Church Avenue in the North York. Vulnerable individuals as well as those experiencing homelessness are welcome to visit a warming center, which provides people with a warm, safe indoor place to rest and access snacks, washroom facilities, and referrals to emergency shelter. All warming centers are available by walk-in. The City of Toronto is asking residents to call 311 if they see an unhoused person who may need street outreach assistance, or 911 if it's an emergency. A coyote was spotted roaming around a downtown Toronto neighborhood on Monday morning. The coyote was seen running along Queen Square near the CN Tower in the city's harborfront community at around 9 a.m. In videos captured by CTV News' Adrian Gabriel, the coyote is seen meandering nearby pedestrians on the sidewalk and bike lanes before dashing across the street moments before a truck and streetcar drive past. Toronto Animal Services confirmed to CTV News Toronto they have received sighting reports and noted that residents must spot coyotes more frequently at this time of the year. The city adds coyotes are typically shy and don't pose a danger to people, but they can be unsafe for small pets. Pet owners should pick up their pets and carry them in their arms or keep them on their leashes. The city advises anyone who sees a coyote in a park or open area or sees someone feeding wildlife to call 311. Feeding coyotes is also prohibited as feeding them can lead to public safety issues. An Ontario court has denied a municipality's request to clear a homeless encampment, building on recent decisions out of the British Columbia that the judge says establish a constitutional right to available and accessible shelter spaces. The region of Waterloo was asking the court to find that roughly 50 people living in a Kitchener encampment were in violation of its trespassing by law. But in ruling handed down Friday in the Ontario Superior Court of Justice, the judge found the bylaw violates the charter rights of the encampment residents because of the region's lack of adequate shelter spaces. Justice Michael Valentine's ruling cited a number of recent decisions delivered in British Columbia that he says establish a constitutional right to shelter when the number of homeless people exceeds available and accessible indoor spaces in that jurisdiction. His ruling says the region of Waterloo had about 416 shelter spaces and roughly 1,100 people experiencing homelessness, with that number having tripled from 2018 to 2021. The decision comes after a number of similar but unsuccessful legal challenges to encampment clearings in Toronto and Hamilton. Three 15-year-old boys are in police custody following an alleged armed attempted carjacking Rexdale early Sunday morning. Police were called to the area of Rexdale and Humberwood Boulevards at approximately 3:20 a.m. for a report of a person with a gun. At that time, police said the victim entered their parked vehicle when three masked boys approached. One boy allegedly produced a handgun and demanded the victim's car keys. Police said the boys then pulled the victim out of the vehicle and struck them over the head with the gun. It's unclear if they sustained any injuries following the incident. The suspects were able to get the victim's keys, police said, but were able to make off with some cash and lottery tickets before they fled the scene on foot. Police said officers from 23 divisions searched the area and located the three suspects before they were taken into custody in connection with the alleged robbery. The boys, who cannot be identified under the terms of Youth Criminal Justice Act, are all 15-year-olds and charged with robbery with a firearm disguised with intent and conspiracy to commit an indictable offense. One of the boys is from Brampton, while the other two are from Mississauga. Toronto has seen dozens of carjackings over the last 12 months, which prompted the creation of the Toronto Police Service Hold-Up Squad carjacking task force last fall. Speaking at an unrelated news conference last week, Inspector Rich Harris told members of the police to be vigilant and not to resist if they find themselves as the target of the carjacking.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kubra Ali. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.